Hey love bugs, welcome to Love Grind. I'm Ebony, your host. Tonight we're going to talk about the real reasons you're attracting toxic partners. You keep attracting them, don't you? I know I do. The partners who feel so exciting at first. Buzzing with that intoxicating chemistry. It feels like you finally found what you've been looking for, but then it starts to shift. Slowly, inevitably, the connection that felt so deep starts making you feel anxious, drained, and constantly questioning your own worth. You tell yourself it's just a terrible string of bad luck. You blame the dating apps, your city, the idea that all the good ones are gone. But what if the one common denominator in all these painful relationships is you? What if the magnet pulling these people into your life isn't outside of you at all? Truth is, love bugs, your own self-worth might be sabotaging your love life from the inside out. In this video tonight, in our episode, we're going to uncover the hidden link between low self-esteem and the toxic partners you keep choosing. And I'll give you the very first steps to finally break the pattern. It's a cycle that feels maddeningly familiar. You meet someone and the connection is electric. They shower you with attention, you feel seen, you feel chosen. Just as you start to relax, something changes. They pull away and you feel that jolt of panic. Texts get less frequent, the plans become more tentative, and you're left totally confused, replaying every interaction, wondering what you did wrong. So you try harder. You become more accommodating, more understanding, more forgiving, and you double down to get back to those amazing early days. And for a second it works, they come back. The intensity returns and the relief you feel is huge. Like, yes, but it never lasts. Soon the distance is back and you're on that emotional roller coaster once again. Your sense of self eroding with every single loop. Unless you move in with them like within a week, then you can't really get away from them. You find yourself walking on eggshells, afraid to mention a need or set a boundary because you don't want to push them away again. You guys have small disagreements that blow up into huge fights where you're somehow always the one to blame. I've had one of those before. You apologize for things that aren't even your fault. You start to believe their criticisms, that you're too sensitive, too demanding, too much. You start to feel like maybe you are the problem. This pattern of getting sucked into chaotic, unstable relationships can leave us feeling powerless and exhausted. It's not just bad luck, it's a deeply ingrained dynamic, and it starts with the relationship you have with yourself. Let's talk about the root cause. Why your self-worth is a magnet for toxicity. The most powerful and sometimes difficult truth, love bugs, is to accept that the partners we choose are often a mirror. They reflect the unhealed parts of ourselves, specifically our own level of self-worth. Low self-esteem is a primary driver of toxic relationships and attraction because it completely distorts your perception of what you deserve. When you don't truly, deeply value yourself, you subconsciously become available to partners who will never value you either. This is kind of a line for me, because what if you think that you're valuing yourself and you really feel like you are? I guess it comes out with the partners you choose. I guess that the real truth comes out. This doesn't just start in adulthood. For most of us, these feelings of unworthiness are rooted in our earliest experiences. Low self-esteem often develops in childhood environments where love and approval felt conditional or inconsistent. Maybe you had a parent who was critical, emotionally distant, or just overwhelmed. In those situations, kids can internalize the message that they aren't inherently worthy of love. They learn that love is something you have to earn through good behavior, through achievements, or by making yourself smaller and less of a bother. Psychologists call this an insecure attachment style. We've talked about that, where you develop a deep-seated dependence on others for validation and a sense of security, because you were never taught how to build it from within. This core belief, I'm not enough on my own, carries into adulthood and creates the perfect storm for attracting toxic partners. Here's how it works. First, low self-esteem makes you willing to accept treatments you don't deserve. Think about it. When you're starving, a crumb feels like a feast. When your soul is starved of self-worth, a tiny scrap of attention from someone can feel like this huge, profound love. People with low self-esteem accept crumbs and mistake them for a full meal. Because deep down, you don't believe you deserve consistent, respectful love, right? You rationalize poor treatment. You overlook red flags that would see as giant waving deal breakers. A toxic partner, whether they know it or not, recognizes this vulnerability and understands that you're unlikely to demand better or leave. Second, and this one is tricky, it's what we call the proof of lovability trap. This is where you subconsciously pick a difficult, distant, or critical partner because you think that if you can just get that person to love you, it will finally prove you're worthy. The logic is something like, this person is so challenging. If I can just be good enough, patient enough, or sacrifice enough to win them over, then I must be valuable. The relationship stops being a partnership and turns into a project, a test of your worth. You pour all your energy into trying to fix them and please them. A game you never win because the goalposts are always moving. This dynamic is incredibly appealing to manipulative or narcissistic people who love empathetic givers who will cater to their every need. I was in a relationship like that. I just gave, and my sensitivity was preyed upon and used against me, and that is something terrible, and it doesn't feel very well. The third is low self-esteem is directly linked to a lack of personal boundaries. Boundaries are basically the languages of self-respect. They're the invisible lines we draw to protect our mental and emotional health. When your self-worth is low, your boundaries are either flimsy or just not there at all. You're terrified that saying no or I don't like that will lead to abandonment. So you don't say it. You let your partner's needs and moods completely overshadow your own, slowly losing yourself until you don't even know what you want anymore. Toxic partners thrive in this boundaryless space as it lets them push further and further with the controlling or manipulative behavior. Finally, this whole cycle is locked in place by a powerful process in your brain. Toxic relationships, intermittent reinforcement. This is the same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. You get a reward, but on a totally unpredictable schedule. Your partner is cruel, distant, or critical, and then, just when you're about to give up, they give you a moment of intense affection or a glimpse of the person you first fell for. That unpredictability creates a huge dopamine rush in your brain's reward system. The highs feel so incredibly high because they come right after the deep lows. When the affection disappears again, you experience a chemical withdrawal, anxiety, panic, and a desperate craving for your next hit. And over time, your nervous system gets biologically hooked on the cycle. You confuse all that anxiety and intensity with passion and deep love. This is made worse by a feeling of familiar chaos. If your childhood was emotionally turbulent, a calm, stable relationship can actually feel boring or suspicious to your nervous system. A chaotic, unpredictable dynamic, on the other hand, feels familiar, and your brain tragically mistakes that familiar chaos for safety, drawing you right back to the very patterns that hurt you. So what's the solution, love bugs? The internal work to break the cycle. What do we need to do? Hearing all that might feel like a lot, right? But this is where your power is. The moment you realize the problem isn't just bad luck, but a pattern driven by your inner world, you get the power to change it. Let me be clear, this is not about blaming yourself at all. And you never blame someone else's toxic behavior. But real empowerment comes from taking responsibility for your own healing. It's the shift from asking, why does this keep happening to me, to what is happening in me that allows this to keep happening. This is the beginning of the end of the cycle. The solution isn't about learning to find a better partner. It's about becoming a person who is no longer a match for toxicity. Here are the first most important steps on that journey. Step 1. Practice radical awareness and accountability. The first step is always awareness, right? You can't change a pattern you refuse to see. This means you have to look back at your relationship history with total honesty, not for self-blame, but for self-discovery. Grab a journal and think about your past patterns. What were the common red flags you brushed off at the beginning? When did you first feel that knot of anxiety in your stomach? When did you ignore your own feelings and make excuses for their behavior? Again, you're not blaming or shaming yourself, right? It's about seeing your role in this dynamic so you can fix it. Accountability isn't taking the blame for their action. It's about acknowledging your part in abandoning your own needs, ignoring your own intuition, and letting your boundaries be crossed. This step is about taking your power back from a piece of victimhood and seeing that you do have a choice, even if you didn't use to protect yourself at that time. Step 2, you can rebuild your self-worth from the inside out. This is the heart of the work. You have to stop outsourcing your sense of value to a romantic partner. Your worth is inherent. It isn't decided by who does or doesn't love you. To really believe this, you have to start building evidence for it in your own life. You need to become your own main source of validation. You can make a list of things that make you feel capable and proud, completely separate from a relationship. Maybe it's taking a class or getting good at a new skill, hitting a fitness goal, or pouring time into a creative hobby. When you prove to yourself that you are accomplished on your own, you rely less on other people to tell you your worth. It's also super important to actively cultivate your friendships. Pour your energy into friends and family who treat you with consistent respect and kindness. These healthy relationships act as a real example of what good treatment feels like and reinforce that you deserve it. Finally, love bugs, you have to start practicing self-compassion. The voice of low self-esteem is brutally critical. It's that inner voice that tells you you're not good enough, that you're unlovable, that their new supply is better than you. When you catch yourself spiraling into negative self-talk, just pause and say, would I ever talk to a friend I love this way? The answer is almost always no. Start to challenge the inner critic. Replace thoughts like no one will ever want me with something more truthful and gentle like I am a work in progress and I am learning to love myself. I'm worthy of a healthy, respectful partnership. I know this is deep work, guys, and it can be hard to know where to start. A lot of these patterns are so subconscious we don't even see them clearly. If what I'm saying is hitting home and you want to start identifying your specific patterns, I've created a free self-worth and relationship patterns worksheet. It's a simple guide with journaling prompts to help you connect the dots between your past and your present. You can download it for free using the link in the description. It's a powerful first step on this journey. Step 3, you can establish and maintain boundaries. Boundaries are the most practical, powerful expression of self-worth. They aren't walls to keep people out. They are gates that you can control, letting in what feels good and keeping out what doesn't. If you're not used to setting them, it will feel incredibly uncomfortable at first. You might feel selfish or mean. That's normal, and it's a sign that you're rewiring your brain. Start small to build your boundary muscle. Practice in low-stakes situations. Say no when a coworker asks you to take on an extra task you don't have time for. Tell a friend, I can't talk on the phone right now, but I'll call you back tomorrow. These small wins build your capacity for the bigger, more emotionally charged boundaries in relationships. In a relationship, a boundary might sound something like, when you speak to me in that tone, I feel disrespected. I'm going to step away from this conversation until we can both speak calmly. Communicating a boundary isn't a threat. It's a clear statement that you need to feel safe and respected. And a healthy partner will respect it. A toxic partner will rush back, test it, and call you selfish for having it. The reaction will tell you everything that you need to know. Step 4. Commit to healing underlying wounds. While self-help is powerful, many of these wounds are deep and were formed when we were very vulnerable. Working with a qualified therapist is one of the most effective ways to break these cycles for good. Therapy provides a consistent relationship where you are valued and heard without having to perform or earn it. Okay? Empower it, becoming a mismatch for toxicity. Here's the best part of this whole process. As you consistently do this internal work, as you build your self-worth, strengthen your boundaries, and heal your old wounds, something amazing starts to happen. You don't have to get better at spotting red flags, though you will. You don't have to work as hard to push toxic people away. You simply become a bad match for them. A person with a high, stable self-worth is dearly uninteresting to a manipulator. A manipulator needs someone with weak boundaries they can rush and they can push around. Someone who craves their validation, someone that they can control. When they come across someone who knows their own value, who communicates their needs clearly, and who isn't afraid to walk away from disrespect, they have no leverage, and you basically become invisible to their radar. Even more importantly, you will start to find toxic dynamics incredibly unappealing. The unpredictable chemistry won't feel like exciting passion anymore. It will just feel like anxiety, and you'll recognize it as a threat to your peace. The hot and the cold person won't seem mysterious, they'll just seem inconsistent and unreliable. You won't be attracted to the project of fixing someone because you'll be too busy building your own incredible life. The goal isn't to get better, love bugs, at playing the game of toxic relationships. It's to elevate yourself so you're not even on the same field anymore. The cycle of attracting toxic partners can feel like a prison, but the key is in your pocket the whole time. It's not about luck, it's not about fate, and it's not about a scarcity of good people. It's about the sacred and the life-changing journey of coming home to yourself. It's about realizing that you were born worthy, and no one's inability to see that can ever take it away. The power to fundamentally change your love life lies entirely within you. By shifting your focus from finding the right person to becoming the right person for yourself. If this episode tonight resonated with you, please share it with somebody who's ready to take this journey. Subscribe to the channel, and please make all the decisions you can this week with your heart. You deserve a love that feels like peace, not like a battle, and it all starts with you, love bugs. Until next time, I'm out.